The order coming next is Strigiformes. Strigiformes includes the very popular birds, owls, which are the nocturnal birds of prey which hunts on small mammals like rodents. Of course, for hunting these smaller mammals, it needs very powerful weapons like they have very sharp talons in their toes. Of course, it is having a zygodactylus sort of feet, which is having two toes in front and two toes backwards. And it can be articulated a little bit like sometimes one toe is behind and three toes forward. And the beak will be strongly hooked, bent downward from the base. The very major peculiarity of the owl is that the face of the owl seems to be very large. Like head will be large and eyes of course will be very large and directed forwards, which enables them the binocular vision. Sometimes the upper eyelid sheds over the lower one, and the facial disc or the circular disc is surrounded by a ring of feathers which radiates from the eye portion. External ear opening is extremely large so that it can hear very keenly. So the vision and audibility is very much high in this group. So this group includes genus like Ketupa and Bubo. Look at these images, like both of the images are taken from different cultures. On the extreme right, you can see the goddess of wisdom of Greece. Her name is Athena, and Athena is owl, holding an owl, and that owl seems to be a symbol of wisdom in the Greek mythology. Interestingly, in Hindu mythology, you can see the goddess of wealth there, Lakshmi, and Lakshmi is having owl as her vehicle. And in Hindu mythology also, owl stands as a symbol of wisdom. So there is a very interesting parallelism between two cultures of Hindu mythology and also the Greek mythology. In these images, we can see different species of owls. In extreme left, you can see the J.K. Rowling's very popular character, Harry Potter, who's holding a snowy owl. And I think the name of that snowy owl in that tale is Hedwig. And you can see in the upper right, a pair of owls, and in regional language we call that owls as Kalemkori, mottled wood owl, and the breeding call of that particular species is considered to be as a fearful omen, scary omen here, because it is considered to be as the messenger of the god of death by the local people. Actually, it is a breeding call. They are trying to communicate with each other in the breeding season. And the extreme down, you can see the Vellimunga, the barn owl, which is having a peculiar feature of flying without making any kind of noise. So it's an excellent species, very useful species for the humankind, so that it can control so many rats without any payment, of course. The example of the Strigiformes is Bubo. It's a forest eagle owl, and we have discussed about the features of this Bubo very much earlier, and we will move to the next order. The next order is Cuculiformes, which includes cuckoos and cockles. Look at the structure of the bird, and it is having long and pointed wings, and the feet is zygodactylous in nature. We have already mentioned about what is zygodactyly, and beak will be gently curved and deeply cleft. Some species build nest and rear the young, but others lay eggs in the nest of other birds. And that is the famous character which is exhibited by some of the birds of this Cuculiformes order. It includes cuckoos, quail, crow peasant, or even we can call it as cowcles. And Hotsine. Hotsine, you might have heard the name. Hotsine is a bird which we can see at the Brazil region, Amazon forest region. It is having three claw-like structure during its childhood. And here you can see the cowcal. Look at the eyes. Mostly for the cuckoos and also this cowcal, the eyes will be red, bright red. And the genus Centropus, to which the cowcal belong, is distinguished by an upright kind of toe, which you can see there in the image there. And in the lower pictures, it is cartoon pictures. It is very popular as the cuckoos usually lay their eggs on the nest of the crow, and that kind of birds is known as brood parasites. And some of the birds in this group is exhibiting brood parasitism. This is a sexually dimorphic Asian quail or coil, and the generic name of the Asian coil is Eudynamis scolopaceus. Here you can see a bluish black color bird in the left, and that is a male bird. And another bird is there, a brownish bird with so much rufous kind of marking in their body. That is a female of the Asian coil. So basically they are brood parasites, so they will lay their eggs in the nest of crow, even babbler, even myna. The most interesting thing is it will emerge from the egg 3 or 4 days earlier than the chicks of other birds, host birds, so that it will get more care, parental care. So it will be having much more advantage. So they are brood parasites. They are, of course, I forgot to say something, like they are mainly feeding on fruits. So they are frugivorous. Look at the beaks, it is adapted for pecking on the fruits. So they are frugivorous. And in the breeding season, we can hear so much beautiful songs of this breeding pair. It's very popular bird in our household. Next order is Psittaciformes, which includes parrots and parakeets. It's a birds with short, stout, and strongly hooked beak. Look at the beak. It's very different. It's very unique. Upper jaw is movably articulated with the skull, so it is almost like fixed sort of thing. It is having a zygobacterial feet. Again, we are hearing the same sort of feet here. Food consists mainly of fruits, frugivores. So they never try to make nest by their own, but eggs are deposited in burrows already in trees. So you can see the parakeets image over here in the lower side of the slide, and it belongs to the genus Psittacula. It's very interesting endemic bird of Western Ghats, Malabar parakeet. Look at the bluish hue of the bird. It's very beautiful. Look at the bigger sized birds of this group, which are not belonging to our country. They belonging to different countries, South America, Africa, such sort of things. You can say scarlet macaw over there, hyacinth macaw over there, and sulfur crested cockatoo over there. So these you may be seeing these birds in bird charmers collections. Hyacinth macaw, I think it is the largest parrot, flying parrot. And there was one parrot which went extinct in 1939, and the stuffed parrot was seen in that image. It is known as Carolina parakeet. And last year, one of the parrot member has been declared to be extinct in wild, that is Spix macaw. And This bird is an inspiration for the cartoon character Rio, which is a very popular movie, cartoon movie. And here we can see a different sort of parrot. Actually, it is also known by the common name parrot owl. It is from New Zealand, I think. Kakapo. It's a flightless parrot. It is a nocturnal parrot also. It's having so much peculiarities, but it seems to be in danger right now. This is an example of Psittaciformes, Psittacula or rose-ringed parakeet. Here in this image, you can see a male because ring is very much prominent in the neck. So the characters of the Psittacula has been explained earlier, so I'm not going into detail. Next order is the Gruiformes. Gruiformes includes rails and cranes. Cranes are the major birds which includes the Gruiformes. So mostly they are wading shorebirds or marsh birds. Very few live on dry plains and deserts. Body is laterally compressed. Think about a water hen. In colloquial language, we can call it as kolakuri. So body will be laterally compressed, enabling the bird to move in dense vegetation. Legs are very long and the lower part is bare, and toes are long, outer toe joined to the mid toe by a web. So it is having weak powers of flight and keel will be reduced. Beaks are variously modified. It will feed on fishes, reptile and mollusk. Sometimes herbivorous birds are also seen in the order. Crop is absent. Examples for this Gruiformes is rail, coot, waterhen, bustard, and cranes. See, these are the three very popular cranes. In the extreme top right, you can see the Siberian crane, and in the extreme left bottom, you can see the Sarus crane, which is the tallest bird in India, which stands almost 6 feet tall, and it is non-migratory. And you can see the golden crested crane of Africa, which is a very beautiful bird. It's an inspiration for so many types of dances in Africa. And the top you can see two kind of very common water birds. One is the purple moorhen, which is considered to be as a pest nowadays in agriculture fields of Thrissur and Palakkad. And water hen, very popular one. And in the downside, you can see two critically endangered bird. One is GIB, Great Indian Bustard, and second one is the lesser florican. Actually, both are in danger right now because the numbers is significantly less in the wild. Now, both of these are included in a separate order, which is known as Untitled, but for the time being, for the syllabus sake, we are including this as the member of Gruiformes. But you must remember it was removed from the order and included in a separate group, which is known as Untityformes. Look at the beautiful jumping mating display of lesser florican. It was a sequence of pictures which was taken and it was published in a National Geographic journal. Seems to be very interesting. And in Malayalam, we can call that bird as Chatakori. And the example of this order is Ardiotis nigriceps or Great Indian Bustard. Actually, the Ardiotis is the current generic name, but in your textbook and in our syllabus, it was written as Coriotis. So the generic name Coriotis has been converted into Ardiotis. So the current name will be like Ardiotis nigriceps. So for your examination, you have to remember the name Coriotis only. So it is a critically endangered bird, as we told earlier. It is having a long bare legs. It's a ground bird with almost 1 meter height or 18 kilo weight. It is having a black crested crown at the top of the head. Sexes will be alike. Female will be a smaller counterpart, and cock will be polygamous, so it can keep so many females with them. It can mate with so many females. It will produce some kind of deep resonant booming call during the mating period. It lay only single eggs, so it is dangerous because the uh, clutch size is very less now. So it is very risky to rescue these birds from extinction with the very low number of eggs which they lay normally. Only female incubates, and it exhibits a kind of display which is known as distraction display to save its young ones. So this is all about the Coriotis or Great Indian Bustard. Next order is Charadriiformes, which includes waders, plovers, gulls, etc. So they may include different sort of birds, like terrestrial birds will be there, arboreal birds will be there, marine birds will be there. Legs will be long and toes are webbed at the base. The feathers are dense and firm, and beaks are variously modified, but some birds is having a mud probing beaks. Example which comes under the Charadriiformes includes jacana, plover, curlew, sandpiper, gull, terns, etc. So many type of birds are included in this Charadriiformes. See the images on the top. You can see the brown-winged jacana and also the peasant-tailed jacana over there. It is common birds in our neighborhood. In the lower side, on the extreme right, you can see a bird which is known as herring gull, which was mainly used for studying the behavior of birds. So it is an ethological model. You will be learning much more about the herring gull in your PG classes. The different sort of behavioral theories come from observing these model birds. And in the extreme left down, you can see a stuffed image of great auk which went extinct in 1844. It belongs to the same order. Looks very similar to penguin, but it's not included in this group because of its unique characters which attributes to this order. Look at the wonderful bird which is known as Arctic tern, and it's very surprising that a single Arctic tern can travel almost 71,000 kilometers per year, and it can live up to 30 years. So if you are multiplying the 71,000 into 30, it will be coming around 2.4 million kilometers. That is equivalent to almost 3 round trips from moon to earth. How amazing it is. So it is the longest migrating bird, longest distant traveler in bird group, Arctic tern. Example of this order is Trinca. It's a genus of wader, commonly known as sandpiper. It's a freshwater bird, so you can see it in the wetlands. For example, in Thrissur region, you can see it very commonly in the cold wetlands. They nest in trees using old nest of other birds. So they won't make any new nest. So they will use the used nest of other birds. So very common beings is like common green shank is there, red shank is there. So you can easily spot out by observing the color of the legs. So It is having a beak which is slightly upturned. It is a window visitor in India. That means it's not a resident in India. It is carnivorous, especially insectivorous. So mainly it crops for insects. Often it is seen in mixed flocks. So it may be seen associated with some other species of wading birds. So in this picture, you can see the common green shank. The feet here is pale green. So that is about the trinca, which is an example of this order. And the next order is Columbiformes, which includes pigeons and doves. So they are granivores or grain-eating birds. Even they are frugivores, they can eat fruits, and it is having a short and slender beak. Legs are not suited for running. It cannot run, but it can walk slowly in the ground. Young ones are nidicolous. Nidicolous means altricial, so they need extreme parental care. And the pigeons usually fed uh, the offspring with a milky fluid which is secreted from the crop region, and we can call that secretion as pigeon's milk. So the example of these columbiformes include pigeon and dove. Dove and pigeon are very charismatic birds. And often it symbolizes the peace. This is spotted dove. In Malayalam, we can call it as Aripravu. This is emerald dove, Maradagapravu. It is the state bird of Tamil Nadu. And the example for Columbiformes is Columba livia or blue rock pigeon. In Malayalam, we can call it as Ambalapravu because it seems to be associated with temples and old buildings. So it is a slaty gray bird with glistering metallic green sheen on neck. Look at the neck portion. It is very metallic and green. And even the upper breast region also. There will be two dark bars on the wings. It is clearly evident. Sexes will be alike. It is like a semi-domesticated birds, and we can call it as camel cells. In the North India, we can see so many persons will be gathering to feed these pigeons. So the food consists of cereals, pulses, groundnuts, etc. Eggs will be normally two. Both these sexes share all the domestic duties, or even parental care also. They share the duties together. So that is about the blue rock pigeon or Columba livia. The order comes next is the Falconiformes or the birds of prey. They are diurnal birds of prey. Usually, the birds of prey we have discussed earlier, Strigiformes, owls, they are nocturnal, but here Falconiformes are birds of prey which are diurnal in nature. That means they operate on light mode, on the day mode. So it is having a short, strong, sharp-edged and curved beak hooked at the tip. If you are looking very closer to the birds, you can find the beak as hooked at the tip. Toes are adapted for perching and are armed with powerful claws suitable for seizing and tearing the prey. So it is also having sharp talons. So predaceous feeding on small living birds and mammals. So it includes birds like hawk, falcons, kite, eagle, vulture, etc. This is a very popular kite, Brahmini kite. In Malayalam, we can call it as Krishna Parandu. This is Paria kite or black kite, Chakki Parandu. And here we can see two falcons. The larger image is having the Amur falcon, which we have in plenty in the northeast, mainly in Nagaland. And Nagaland is also considered to be as the falcon capital of the world because it launches so many falcon individuals at a particular season. And in the inside, you can see a bird which is coming downwards like a jet. Yes, of course, it is the fastest animal in the world. It is the fastest bird, that is peregrine falcon. It's a very cross-eyed bird, but it's having an amazing fast. So it travels in the speed of 320 kilometer per hour. Amazing. While talking about vultures, you might have heard about the legend of Jadayu. It is a bird character which tried to save Sita from Ravan, but instead it was hurted by Ravan with his famous sword Chandrahasa. And in the memory of Jadayu, in Kerala, there was a sculpture which is known as Jadayupara. It's a very popular tourist destination right now, which is created by the film director Sabu Cyril. And one of the popular issues faced by Indian vultures is the use of a drug which is known as diclofenac, which was in consistent use from 1990s onwards. But later, the vulture population of India get declined because of this drug, because it feeds on carcasses of animals which are treated with the diclofenac. So the vultures suffered renal failure and subsequently they died. So many numbers of vultures and even species got reduced, and in the government of India then banned this veterinary drug diclofenac in 2006. Now the population of vultures are getting stabilized slowly. I think in Pinjore of Haryana, there are some breeding projects of these vultures going on. Example of this group is Milvus migrans or black kite. Formerly it was known as Pariakite. So this black kite or Milvus, it is a medium-sized raptor or the bird of prey. The plumage is dark brown with the rufous markings. Rufous means white sort of markings here and there. Tail is with a shallow fork. In flight, you can see the fork there in the tail region. In the earlier image, we have seen that black kite. Both sexes are similar. Eyes are dark brown. Toes are with sharp talons for tearing the prey, as we have discussed in the outer character. Bill is black with a yellow cere. So it always perform a ritualized kind of aerial courtship display by both sexes. They also act as scavengers. So that is about the Milvus or black kite, which is the example for the order Falconiformes. Next order is Ciconiformes, which includes herons and storks. They are large wading marsh birds with great power of flight. So much of the birds belonging to this order are migratory in nature. They are having long legs and long toes. They are adapted for wading. So the long neck and long and sharply pointed beak is the major adaptations of the Ciconiformes. You can see long S-shaped neck here, and even the beak, it is very much pointed. Sometimes even it is bended downwards and spoon type. So different sort of herons and storks are there. So the examples are herons there, egret is there, spoonbills are there, storks are there, ibis is there. See, these are the varieties of birds which includes in this order. You can see the pond heron on the top and the painted stalk, and black ibis is there. The beak and head and neck region is black, and the downside you can see the black and white stalk, and woolly necked stalk is there. In Malayalam we can call this bird as Sannyasi cuckoo because of the coloration, black and white coloration, which looks very similar to the uniform of lawyers. You can see several kinds of egrets here. Even in some images you can see the breeding plumages also. Cattle egret is there, little egret is there, large egret is there, median egret is there. The example for this group is Ardea cinerea or grey heron. Actually, Ardea is the example which you need to study. So Ardea cinerea is the grey heron, and Ardea purpurea is purple heron. So grey heron will be bluish grey, and grey heron will be purple heron will be bluish grey, and grey heron will be ashy grey. It is having a black occipital crest. It is crepuscular and solitary. Crepuscular means it can be seen on the dawn and dusk time. It will be solitary. It won't be seen with groups. Sexes alike. Female will be smaller. So it feeds on fish, frogs, and snakes, and they will stand motionless for hours. So eggs will be like 3 to 5. Both sexes share parental duties. So that is about the Ardea or heron. And the order comes next is the Pelecaniformes, which includes pelicans. They are large aquatic birds specialized for diving and fishing. Their legs are very short. All of the 4 toes are webbed together. So that is an adaptation of birds living in water. So it is having a long beak with a wide gape to catch and swallow fish. So especially pelican, it's having a huge beak, and it can swallow so much fish. Darter and cormorant belongs to this group. Darter means the middle one. The image on the middle one is a darter, and that is Cherakuri. And cormorant is the neerkaka. Example which comes under this order is Pelecanus. Pelecanus means pelican. Pelican is a large web-footed gregarious birds. The large wing spreads and very long pouched bill is a unique character of this bird. So sexes are alike, but female are smaller. Mainly seen in Assam and Punjab in our country. They make huge nest of straw and reeds. So female lays almost 3 to 4 eggs. Tail will be very short. It's difficult to see while swimming, and it's kind of square and soft type of tail. Eggs hatch in 30 days. So only 1 month is needed to raise the eggs. It's not only, it's a bit lengthy. So that is about the Pelecanus or pelican. And the order coming next is Phoenicopteriformes. Phoenicopteriformes includes flamingos. In Malayalam, we can call it as Rajahamsa. So they are freshwater birds. Legs are placed far back on the body, and toes are lobate in nature. So this is a unique character which is possessed by the birds flamingos of this order. Tail is a tuft of down feathers. Plumage is dense and silky, and it can build floating nest. Look at the color of the bird. Actually, the color is coming from the food which they consume. It takes a lot of shrimp sort of things, that pink color shrimp sort of things. So it will impart the coloration of the body of the birds also. Example of this group is Phoenicopterus ruber, that is greater flamingo. It is almost white in appearance. Look at the beak, it is very special. Look at the feet, it is also very special. So these birds are standing almost about 125 centimeter high. It is a long-legged, long-necked, stork-like bird. Heavy pink bill turned down at an angle. So angled beak is there. Sexes are alike. The frogs fly in V formation. You can see the V formation in coming slides. It feeds on phytoplanktons and crustaceans. In flight, long unstretched legs and neck and black bordered brilliant scarlet wings is a marvelous feature to watch in skies. X1 or 2, it is mainly seen in Run of Kutch, Point Calimere, and Pulicat Lake in India. So I'm talking about the greater flamingo or Phoenicopterus genus. A look at the flying posture of the great flamingo, and you can see the lesser flamingo there seems to be very scary. Look at the eyes, it's red and it's completely different. Lesser flamingo, it's shorter version, and a group of lesser flamingo seems to be walking in fresh water that you can see in the underside of this slide. Look at this image. This is what I called by the term V formation, and I am leaving this V formation, like what is the purpose of the V formation, and you have to answer. Try to answer what is the purpose of V formation. We'll discuss it later. So it is an adaptation for the birds which is performing this kind of flight pattern. So that is all. So we have covered almost 16 major orders of birds and their examples, and you have to look at the peculiar feature of each orders and cite an example which was given in your textbook. Only genus you need to remember, and you have to write 4 or 5 characters of each example, or even the order, which will be almost similar. So all the very best. If you have any doubts regarding the topics we have discussed so far, you may ask. You may even type the question you have in your mind, and I'll try to answer as early as possible. Thank you so much for patiently watching. Thank you once again. Bye.